Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage. I'm just doing a few little tidying up jobs on my Land Rover Freelander 2. The Freelander 2, which is now known as Ollie by the way, has been a real treat to own so far. I did have to have the front wheel bearing this side changed recently because it was starting to make a little bit of noise. And it was coming up to MOT, and to be fair, I just didn't have the time to do it myself, so I got my local garage to do it. And for your interest, the MOT, which is a £55 I think in the UK, plus front wheel bearing replacement, including the price of the bearing, cost me £280. So that's not actually too bad. If I'd have done it myself, the bearing on itself would have cost me about £65, something like that. So it's not extravagant. And there's a fair amount of huffing and a puffing and using presses and bits and pieces needed to change the bearings on these. So I was actually quite pleased. Just been cleaning the interior up a little bit. And I've been cleaning the steering wheel. I wish I'd have thought to get the camera out before. And it had a very hard shiny surface on the leather, not a million miles away from this piano black finish. So I've been squirting it with Auto Glim leather cleaner, leaving it on, give it a bit of an agitate with a wet cloth, remove it, do it again. I've done that 3 times, and we got back to this sort of matte finish. And I'm going to do maybe one more treatment and then give that a little bit of leather balm to replace some of the natural oils in there. But that looks a lot better. It was going very shiny. The car is actually in very, very good condition. She has done 98,000 miles, I think. But she's been looked after, been in the main dealer network for most of her life, if not independent. This looks like a scratch, it's a cobweb that's blown back. I've got a few marks on the glove box door, scratches, and down here. Now this is a replaceable panel, and so is the glove box door, so I could change them. And to be fair, these only really show up when it's properly clean, but I don't like them. So I want to do a little something about that soon. Probably a little bit of a trim with a blade to get rid of the frays or burr, and then blow it over with a heat gun, which will give it a tiny amount of natural self-healing and bring some of the colour back in the scratch, and then take it from there. But the thing I'm going to do right now, and the reason I've turned the camera on, is my model, actually being a run-out model, a Metropolis, doesn't have a lot of unpainted black plastic on it. But this panel here is the most obvious one. I don't know if you can see, it's just beginning to show the tiger stripes, as they're called, that are formed by the different densities when the plastic panel is moulded. So the darker stripes are where there is more material. But you don't see those when these panels are new, you just see them as they begin to age and fade a little bit. And the panel still looks very black, but you can see these stripes, this sort of ripple effect. And many of you will know that on my Ducato I used a product to restore the grey, dark grey plastics on that. And I've got some left over. I'm going to use it on the Freelander. This is Cerakote's ceramic trim coat. And I've really liked it. Easy to use. Seems to give a good effect that lasts. Ah, there they are. I thought I'd lost them. I know I got... No, that was an empty one. Here we are. There's 2 left there. That one's empty. They're just wipes, like wet wipes, and you wipe them on and they go to work and essentially ceramic coat black plastics, giving them a more even, blacker finish. Very easy to use. I'm going to treat those black panels whilst it's dry right now. This step is not something that's suggested by Cerakote, but they say wash the panel, dry it carefully. I've got a little bit of 70-30 isopropyl alcohol. I'm just going to give this wipe down just to make sure there's no treatments still on it. That will strip any wax. There's a little bit of debris coming off, despite the fact the car's been washed recently. And it makes it look a little better because it's damp. But as soon as it dries, you see the tiger stripe effect coming straight back. Let's just give that a second going over. There's a little bit of debris coming off. And although they don't look bad, these panels are also plastic, so I'm going to treat those and this at the same time. So I'm going to just wipe those over and come back to you in a moment. So it's all been cleaned off and isopropyled. Here's my wipe straight from the pouch. And all we do is use it to damp down the surface like so. So very easy to apply. And if you've not got to use a scrubbing action to get into various dry spots, very quick to apply and goes a long way. Now when I was doing this on the Ducato, it took a long time because big vehicle, but also it was very faded, very porous. So several passes to make an impression. This, because it's actually in pretty good nick, no time at all. What I have learned is if you leave brush marks, I know they're not really brush marks, but you know what I mean, you will see them afterwards. So just re-wipe it if you can see something you don't want to see. That looks amazing. So I'm just going to do the opposite corner. And move on to a few other little bits. Whilst this is nice and wet, and it'll do all the bits I indicated to you on a single wipe because they're in decent condition. So I'll come back to you when that's all done. And there we are, a few minutes later. So I went round the car, applied the wipes to all the areas I wanted to treat, and then I came back round once the wipe had started to dry off and just gave them another little wipe with the drier wipe, which knocked the shine down a little bit and evened it up, and you could actually feel that it was starting to go tacky. It was probably after, what, 10 minutes, if that. Just noting a mark on my window, that might be ceramic from me. As it will be hard to get off once it's fully set. Just put a cloth on that straight away. because this stuff will even stick to glass. There you go. But check the same area on the other side. No, it doesn't look like I've hit that. But yeah, I also did the A-pillar. I wouldn't call them trims. It's more like a plastic coating, if I'm honest. The mirror bases. On both sides. Because these are less grainy, they've come out a little shinier, I think. And you can probably see my brush marks a little easier, but they'll dull down a little more. So yeah, quite pleased. And hopefully what you can already see is the tiger stripes, if not gone then, are all but gone with a single wipe. So one wipe, you get 10 in a box. I managed to do all those black bits of trim on my car. Very happy. This bit I've just treated with Auto Glim vinyl and plastic care products, rejuvenating it. Look at the state of my tow bar. My car's in great nick, but the tow bar looks like it's been under the sea, and I suspect that that literally might be the case. Land Rovers with tow bars very often tow caravans, heavy trailers or boats, and I do live near the coast, so the condition of this relative to the rest of the vehicle says it was added afterwards and nobody bothered to clean it up second hand, or, as is more likely, this has been dunked in the briny a few times, so this really needs a good clean up. It's about an hour since I cleaned my wheel. Now I'm going to put a little bit of leather care balm on. Shake well, test a small inconspicuous area, yeah. Pour leather balm sparingly on to polish applicator, gently massage into surface, allow a few minutes for balm to fully absorb, then buff. There, easy peasy. I'm just using a bit of cotton cloth. Let's get that on. Just going to try and wipe it in, agitate if you like. And then I'll apply a little bit more on top and leave it for a while. Right, it's been sat on there for 5 minutes. So now, just buff it off. And the result is far more satisfying. Sort of a satin finish. Got a bit of grip to it. It looks, feels and smells better. That's all for this one, because I've got to take the car for a drive now for a work trip. If any of you viewers are still thinking of voting in the competition for the XK8 photograph of the year, then go to the video linked in the description below and vote immediately, because you're nearly out of time. I'll see you all again very soon.